Who's spinning? Miss Fantastic spinning? Aaron? All right. Come on. Somebody look up what HQ is talking about. What's up, HQ? Let me know if you got it. We'll share your screen. Or
Come
YouTube, see
on,
if you
big
can
money,
find it.
big money.
What you got?
Reproductive rights.
Reproductive rights. Project 2025. We're gonna hit this HQ thing, but reproductive rights. Bring it up for me, YouTube. Let me read the fine print. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like button right now if you can. That helps the channel the most. I want to see what she's talking about, though. Despite the majority of Americans supporting comprehensive health care and reproductive freedom, Project 2025 would prefer a far different reality. Their attacks would undermine Medicare, keep prescription drug prices high, and restrict access to reproductive care. Let me read the bullet. Here's how they would do it. End medication abortion use or make it incredibly difficult to access. Project 2025 would revoke approval from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, criminalize mailing medication abortion, or even enlist the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, as part of their anti-abortion efforts. So get rid of the abortion pill. I would assume there's an abortion pill and there's plan B. I would assume that would be in jeopardy. So essentially using abortion as maybe like a contraceptive would be eliminated. And then what was the other parts? Medicare and Medicaid for those things specifically. So like as an example, would vasectomy still be covered? I guess not. I would assume those would be eliminated also. What you guys think?
Well, vasectomy is
Aaron, go ahead.
before that's a procedure that happens before the baby is conceived. Everything else is post.
Post. Okay.
Yeah, sperm, meat, egg.
You know good and hell well the damn government ain't paying shit for no man. You ain't getting no motherfucking government vasectomy, nigga.
It was
Because then
100% covered when I had it. Well, I got insurance.
tubes tied would have to go
Yeah,
in
you
there.
not the federal government. You had you had to pay for that shit. The federal government not paying for you to clip your nuts.
Touche.
Yeah, that first bullet summary was misleading when it says that it's going to affect Medicaid, Medicare, all this stuff. I think they should have been more specific. It should have been, Medicaid's not going to pay for, deletion medication and all that kind of thing. And, they said it's going to completely get rid of reproductive rights. No, or access to, what did it say? Access to reproductive care. There's so much more to reproductive care than just deletions, right? I think I think in actuality, what they're really focusing on is recreational deletions. And are they trying to get rid of it or roll it back to the states?
It looks like elimination based on what it's saying. Like
As
those
long
things
as they
don't
don't,
exist.
yeah, as long as they don't mess around with, I think it should still remain in place for cases of great, indecent, inappropriate relationships.
It would depend on, I guess, Aaron, right? It would depend on the guys under the guise in which they're doing it, right? So essentially, depending on why, it doesn't matter how that baby was conceived. Like the conception of the baby wouldn't matter, essentially, depending on the lens in which they're looking at it.
Right. So just like with the housing protections or whatever, I gotta ask the question why. I mean, what there's that detail's missing. I think.
How much so when I got my arm operated on, right? It said it was like $90,000 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
How much do those procedures actually cost, and how much is the subsidy?
I don't know, but I can imagine. I mean, any
is it about money, or you know what I'm saying? Like what is it about? To your point, right?
That's another good question.
So it's more so talking about the abortion pill. Planned Parenthood also uses that method. Basically, you take the pill, kills the embryo somehow, and your body gets rid of that embryo. It's basically it's an abortion at home.
And what does that do to a woman's body?
Y'all are dumbing down the conversation though. That's not what they're trying to do, bro. They
What
try
they
they trying to fuck up the programs. Period. Y'all,
Yeah.
what y'all are saying is greatly diminishing what they're planning to do. What they're trying to do is going to affect funding. It's going to affect access. It's completely different. Even when you think about it, right? So like Medicaid, like speaking about here in New Jersey, and so I'm assuming other places, Medicaid pays for all mental health, especially for youth. Like it doesn't matter what your family income is, like Medicaid is going to pay for. If you have a diagnosis, mental behavioral health, it's going to be covered by Medicaid. So now these kids that are out of control, that need medication, that be wilding out, they ain't gonna have access to that. You know what I'm saying?
How does that fit under the reproduction? I mean, that baby's been produced.
But what y'all are talking about is one aspect of what they don't want to do, what they want to do, but the aspect in general is just how they want to make cuts to those programs. They call them entitlement programs, but when you look at it, they can't be entitlement programs if they're funded by taxpayers. How is it an entitlement program? It's funded by us. It's funded partially by state and federal. And how do the states and the Fed get their money? They get it from us. So what gives them the right to then say, hey, look, we're going to cut these things. And then what are they going to do with the money that they're going to, you know what I'm saying? So it's like 800 something billion for Medicaid and Medicare every single year. Cool. What are you going to do with that money if you cut it? Let's just say that. What's going to happen with that money?
I'm not interested in cutting that. I'm interested in.
I'm saying that's what they want to do.
Yeah, but
I'm sticking within the context of the conversation. What showed up on the wheel, reproductive.
And yeah, but even still, to your point though, it's what happens with anything else. The money isn't there, so the money isn't spent. If the money isn't earmarked, the money doesn't have to be spent, so it's money saved. Money not paid is money saved. So that's what happens with the money. It gets rolled over into something else that's more useful.
I get what you're saying, but that's
not at all.
That's not how it goes when it comes to healthcare. When it comes to healthcare, when it's not covered by something, then what happens is people go and get treatment and it's not paid for at all, which then puts like, say for instance, if you're uninsured and you go to the emergency room, like there's gonna be charges for that shit. That cost is still gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? It's just that you don't have the money or the insurance to pay for it. The cost still exists. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is now it puts a burden on the system. You know what I'm saying? It drives up the cost for those of us who are actually paying. So yeah,
what percentage of people? I mean, that's what I'm saying. So now I guess what percentage of people are actually on government subsidies when it comes to healthcare? What's the percentage?
That would be Medicare.
Older people use Medicare. Medicaid is like I said, a bunch of people from a bunch of ages use Medicaid because it goes for mental and behavioral health.
But still though, I'm willing to bet that it's not the majority of people, both of them combined. So between Medicare and
Medicare, older people, like that's one of the issues too. One of the issues too with Medicare is that our population is rapidly aging. The average age of us is aging. The same issue with Social Security, which means that now it costs more to provide those services. Now, one of the things they want to do, they want to raise the premium. You know what I'm saying, for Medicare. Which, if you think about grandma and grandpa ain't got a whole lot of money, bro. They living on a fixed income at that old. So at the time when we become the most vulnerable, they want to put more of a burden on people.
Well, think about this, right? Let's say real quick. Just thinking through it, if they were to eliminate the resources for post conception, would that then make the ability to increase for the elderly? Right. So if you roll it back for post conception drugs like the abortion drugs or whatever the case is, would you then be able to reallocate that money to the elderly?
Yeah. So in 2023, 18.9% of people in the United States had Medicaid coverage and 18.9% had Medicare coverage. So I'm not saying that's combined, but even if it's both of them, it's added together, that's 36%. So still the vast majority of people provide their own health care and pay for it.
Or repurpose it like that. You got to look at it like when you say 18.9%, what percentage of the population is of age to receive Medicare services? You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it like that because you got to
Well,
be.
no.
Yeah,
Well,
you
no,
do. You have to.
Well, no, I'm not disagreeing with that. I know you're correct. I'm not arguing that.
Mhm.
What I'm saying is this.
Man, look at this stat though.
Yeah.
So Will
Well,
usually be on point. That's a lot.
Medicaid finance about 42% of all United States. That can't be though, because 42% of people don't qualify. I promise you, 42% of people are not on Medicaid. So how can they
12.5 million Americans have dual eligibility for both. So 12.5 million. Yeah.
Well, that's what's 12.5 million divided by 360 million.
Like you said, 12%. Something
You're
like
asking
that.
me to do math.
You just saying dual eligibility. You're not talking about eligibility for because even fantastic, like you said, the numbers that you said, even if we took those numbers, 18% and 18%, that's a large amount of people. Those are humans. 18%. Let's just say if we said 18% of the number that Hamp just said, like, and then you have to even break that down because let's just say for Medicare, once again, you got to take the population that qualifies for it and look at what percentage of them actually take advantage of it.
So,
and the same with Medicaid.
Wait. Well, see, so are you saying that what we're seeing here regarding the reproductive rights is actually about what Sean's talking about?
No.
Yeah, so
That's what I'm
overall they're
trying
trying to cut down on budgetary spending for healthcare access. That bullet point was one of the ways they would do that. That's it. But Sean is correct. They would attack Medicare, Medicaid.
But what about
all of it.
They try to do all the above.
Okay, but this bullet point right here, Project 2025. Say we stay there for a second, right? Because it's still a budgetary cut, but it's about that specific sector regarding Medicare, aid, and etc. Because I understand what Sean's saying. I'm not trying to dismiss it at all. I understand the bigger picture, but this segment specifically, what is our breakdown and thought?
Yeah, so I would say to the reproductive aspect of it, it's been turned over to the states already. So what are we saying? Again, there's never going to be a place to where the entire country is outlaws, baby deletion. Okay, so if you can't do it here, go to a state where it's legal. Move there, travel there, whatever. People do it all the time. Hell, some places you can buy shit, some places you can't. And I promise you, the places that can, they're promoted, and the women will go there to get it done. So I think this is political, so it's something that's fear mongering to make it seem like, oh, they're not gonna let you kill your babies no more. Like, okay, well, bitches don't get pregnant in the first place. And then too, that's what I'm saying. It should be a lot more. I don't understand why people fighting so hard. Alive people. I don't understand how grown ass adults, people that's done live to be in their 30s and 40s, are fighting so hard to kill babies. I just don't get it. Motherfuckers that ain't get killed or get their goddamn self. It's the craziest shit ever, bro.
I think it's about the right. I think it's about the right of choice. That's just me. I don't want to be the one to make that decision. That's just
I think that's bullshit though. I think the choice is bullshit because again, if you don't like it, get yourself up out of here.
But you know what, fantastic. See, I understand what you're saying, but then we got to go back to the argument that's really the sticking point on that. When does this become a living being? You know what I'm saying? When does it become? When does life start? And so
it has a heartbeat. Once it has a heartbeat, once it's developed to the point of where it's living, that's when it's a person, literally.
But how many weeks is that? You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I think somewhere they say it's somewhere anywhere between 3 to 6 or something like that. I don't know.
Right. Now look, so me, I like to compromise. I would say, you know what? Up until that point that you just referenced, then yeah, this can be allowable. After that, shit, it is what it is. I think when you want to problem solve, that's how you got to look at it. Just me personally. That's just me personally. So people will know if this happens, you got before that thing gets that heartbeat. Hey, look, that's your time frame. After that, it is what it is.
Well, that's what the plan B is for. The plan B is emergency contraception, right? So my understanding is removes the uterus wall or whatever, so the egg can't attach to it if it gets what's name right. I'm not fucking, correct me if I'm wrong, don't kill me, but that's what I'm saying. So if you all these things you got going on and so on and so forth, right? Listen, like anything else, like the fucking light bill, like goddamn a parking ticket. If you don't fucking make the fucking deadline, deal with it. I'm sorry, it's bad. It's a bad decision. You got too many opportunities and too many chances for these children to never end up being here in the first place or be in a position where they need to be deleted. And it needs to be more focus put on, like I said, this is why women need to be talked to, because women want to always talk about the fucking men and what the men this and the men can't don't want, all the men being irresponsible. You let him nut in you. Just like he know how fucking making babies work, you do too. Take your ass to CVS. Hell, nowadays, hell, you can order that shit off Amazon. They got $20 motherfucking Plan Bs. Get it up out of there, bro. But I don't care after it's to the point of where and now you can't get rid of a living baby. I don't care.
What the ladies think? Jalen, what you think? Tiff, what you think? Come on, y'all. Why y'all keep? Can y'all hear me? What do y'all think? It's a broadcast, man. Underperforming.
This is not a non-complex. You're like this. It's not a McDonald's, or this is not a Wendy's. A lot was said.
What do you think, though, regardless of what they said?
If our social systems were a little bit more sophisticated and people had the right type of support, I could see it. But no, it just seems a bit very heavy on the women. But at this point, you got to know that the responsibility is just going to be on your side. So don't be casual about anything at this point.
I don't understand what you're saying.
Meaning, what did Fantastic say? Well, get rid of it. You got this many hours. I'm like, okay, well, she doesn't do that, or what if she doesn't think she's pregnant and then finds out later? It's just like a lot of things that can happen in the sense of why somebody may not want to bring a whole nother person here. And it's seeming like a lot of the responsibility is going to fall on the woman. So if that's the reality, then women are going to have to tighten up the way things are going. If this is all of y'all's leaning.
You're saying, are you so? What's your recommendation? Okay, so you're saying it falls on the women. What's your recommendation to the women? I guess
be absolutely 100% careful. Don't do anything casual. Not ever. And if you wonder about it, look at them and decide what I want to do the rest of my life with this person. If it's a no, cut it. Don't
cut what? Sorry.
All of it. Don't cut it.
Are you recommending them abstain?
Absolutely.
Or are you saying
nope,
be
abstain.
Careful having sex?
Nah, abstain.
Yeah, so that's unrealistic. So now you're just being hyperbolic.
Here we go.
You know that's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
But I guess she's articulating a recommendation. So
that's a whole recommendation if you know people are not going to follow it. So it's basically like I said, you said yourself, HAMP. Women have over 20 forms of contraception. You can just use one of the 20 forms of contraception plus 20 plus forms of contraception to you if you're going to be sexually active. You know how y'all love saying put on the condom, put on the condom, put on the condom. I'm still waiting for a woman to ever say she used a female condom. They make them. So instead, how about y'all have the same fucking rhetoric for them that you have for us? Put on a fucking condom.
Well, my question would be: let's say that the approach that she's suggesting is the approach that's adhered to. Why push back if it's proven to be effective? I mean, the best contraceptive is simply taking an aspirin and holding it firmly between the knees. If I'm just saying, what's the pushback? If that's effective at solving that problem, why deviate to something more risky? Even if the risk is, negligible, it still is a degree of uncertainty. I'm just saying, what's the
Yep.
benefit in that?
Because this
Well,
might
because
be
we
risky,
know.
nigga.
Well, no, we know it's just not something that's feasible, Aaron. So it's like
Why?
me telling you, as strong as you are, it's like me telling you to go pick up a motherfucking 18-wheeler, bro. You
No,
may
but
be strong, but
but you
we
can
know
explain the physics of why that's not feasible. I'm saying what's not feasible about what she's suggesting.
well, this isn't physics. This is sociology, and this is human nature. This is biology. So human beings are never going to stop to the point where they're just not going to have sex. They're not women or men. So now she's trying to give women this, I guess, a high ground or something where they're just capable of abstaining from sex when all the numbers say otherwise. Pregnancy says they're unwilling to do it. STDs say they're incapable, not unwilling, excuse me, incapable of doing it. So being that it's incapable to be done, to suggest that someone does something that's impossible is never a good suggestion, bro. It's just not.
But she didn't say 100% abstinence. She's saying be more careful and abstain until you at least have a better idea that if this thing goes that way, this is who I'm going to lock in with. You know what I mean? Like, just be much more discerning. She's not saying shut it down.
No, she was. She was actually trolling. So she was actually trolling, and she was being an asshole because, like, you know what I mean. This is the thing, because I'm pretty sure, Aaron, even once you start having sex with a person, most likely than not, you just not gonna jump right into raw sex.
No,
More
I
likely than
understand
not.
that. I don't think you understand the question I'm asking. I'll take raw sex off the table, right? Like, that's not even. I'm just trying to figure out what she's saying. The way I'm interpreting it is she's saying women don't engage in amorous congress unless you've made it up in your mind that the person you're doing that with is someone that you can spend the rest of your life with. And if you haven't come to that conclusion, then amorous congress should not be in your lexicon. I'm just trying to figure out why push back from that, especially given its effectiveness.
Yeah, because it's not being practiced. That's all. It's not really a pushback. It's just a call out to the practicality of it.
Oh, all right. Well, that's different. If you're highlighting the practicality flaw, then yeah, I mean, okay.
So he's just saying it's unrealistic, right? So
Yeah, it works.
but he's saying it's not pragmatic, right?
Pragmatic, right? Yeah, I mean, the probabilities, that's another conversation. I'm just trying to figure out what
Yeah, I'm not saying the methodology is anything wrong with that, but I'm saying it actually putting it into practice is not. We know that's not going to happen.
But
Tiff, do you believe, Tiff, in the rollback of sexual, what's it called? Not sexual freedom. What's the term? Sexual liberation. So you believe in a rollback of that? Do you think that did women a disservice?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Well, that would have seemingly aligned. Yeah, that would then align with your, what you're offering. What do you think, Jalen? It was a comment, as Abe said, this is more so about white women not reproducing than black women producing too many. So if they get rid of abortion rights, then white women would have to have those babies.
Sure. I mean, I can see that as a theory, a possibility. My opinion on what they're trying to implement, abortion pills should not be that accessible to the point where you could have a telehealth appointment and get it via mail. I think that's too casual. I think that that's way too casual.
Where does it start and end? Like what do you mean casual? So you can get the real. So they have a baby in them, and you can get the actual abortion pill, because from what I know about Plan B, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, is when you have if the baby's already conceived, the Plan B won't do anything.
Yeah, Plan B's not gonna do
Right,
anything.
right.
But the
Maybe,
abortion pill will get rid of the baby.
Yeah, and
yeah,
she right. You
the
can order it
abortion
by
pill is
mail.
that. Yeah.
You can definitely order it by mail. But
Wow.
Jalen, that's what happens when you look at everything that prohibition has ever done.
And it makes her
Prohibition
miscarry, right?
always does this.
Essentially.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Prohibition
She'll-
always does this.
Wow.
It creates a black market, and people get things through alternative means. We saw
But
that
Sean,
with liquor.
literally, like, I get it, but 2/3 of abortions happen via the pill. 2/3.
Wow.
That's too casual for me. I think people need to understand how serious the childbearing process is, sex, the consequences. Like what Tiff said, abstain.
That shit ain't gonna happen. Yeah, I'm
But
with
also,
that.
wait a minute, not only abstain, but just once the child is here, like you're not bringing people into the best situations. Like it's not just abstain. Like you're not responsible. There's a whole person that will be reliant upon you.
If you're not responsible, why are you
Abstain.
having raw sex? And why are you getting yourself in a situation where you can have a child with somebody who isn't responsible?
But why question human behavior that we know has always existed and is gonna keep existing though? Like it
You
is
just-
what it
Because
is. That's human
they're
behavior.
wanting the government to give them the federal government to
Thank you.
protect their access.
This is what y'all keep not thinking about. What happens is if you say everybody just have the baby, they're going to go into the system, which you know what's going to happen. We're going to have to pay for it anyway. Child Protective Services is going to have to get those cases. They're going to work hard to try to get those people placed, and they're going to go through the system anyway. We're always going to pay for it. This is what social work is. This is what here in New Jersey. This is what DCP&P does. This is what DIFIS does. This is what happens. They go into the system, and we pay for it regardless. Like y'all don't get it.
Yeah, but that's
I understand it.
So instead of them taking care of it, some unfit ass parents taking care of them kids, we got to take care of them. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's literally what happens too. They go into a system. Y'all know that. They become humans and they get
I
taken care of
understand
one
that.
way or another.
yeah, we
Yes.
understand.
Think about
But at the same time, like you said, though, I think there needs to be a revamp or a literal campaign, as they've done for plenty of things, bro, to stress the importance of people of like, hey, you can't just be out here motherfucking using abortion as contraception. The shit is dumb. It's like ridiculous. Like, hey, I ain't gonna go this far to say my platform, so I ain't gonna say it. But yeah, it's a lot of shit that needs to change, bro. And to y'all point, that is a big part of it. The big part of it is the decline of white people's reproductive rates. And then now you're getting caught up with by Hispanics. Again, Hispanics have jumped like 10% in fucking representation, bro, in less than 10 years. I think it's wild. So this whole thing, when they talk about, there being no more white people or so on and so forth, that is a thing. And people don't understand it because, they don't really, they listen to the fear mongering aspect of it, but don't look into the reproductive shit. So you got to have these white women are out here, just going balls to the wall for the right to, you had these bitches out here standing in the line bragging about having multiple. I had one yesterday, yeah, and I'll have another one. So yeah, man, I think a big part of this is to cleanse that ideology and that cancer from,
Man, I don't know, man. That shit is. How many abortions happened last year? Do we know? Of all races?
You can Google it.
Yeah. White people they're not the majority anymore in this country. Now they try to do tricky shit by lumping other groups that we know aren't white into them, but they're not the majority anymore. And think about everything they're doing and think about that. Think about them bringing, like I said, the white South Africans specifically, bringing the Ukrainians specifically. When they talk about illegal immigration, they're only talking about colored people, quote unquote. Just think about that. That was my issue with it the last conversation. You know what I'm saying?
So-
Not
Yeah.
that I give a fuck
99
about Mexicans. I give a fuck about these Caucasians and what they're trying to do.
One
So
study
according
says
to
99,000 deletions each
Yep,
month
per
in the
month.
first half.
Yep. So yeah, Aaron said the same thing I was going to say. So it was
Yeah.
per month. It was like 99,000 per month.
First
Tracked through
half.
like the first quarter from what I had. So the same thing. So that's
Yeah,
what
98,
12
990. Yeah.
1.2
Yeah.
million.
yeah, 1.2
So-
mil.
All the states don't report this to the CDC by race. So per 31 states,
I'll just look for the
42%.
bulk number.
Yeah, 42% of all women who had abortions, and this is 21, but it's probably increased. Non-Hispanic Black, 42%, while 30 non-Hispanic white, 30%, 22% were Hispanic, and 6% were of other races.
And that counts them pills as well.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh,
those
all
things.
abortion.
I know the white girls getting them pills shipped.
Well, that's people who had Planned Parenthood and they had interaction with the federal government or a doctor that can be tracked for it. So no, so it don't include all the pills. That don't include the
Yeah.
motherfuckers like that ordered them off of Amazon or whatever, so on and so forth. And then, like she said, 42% Black women led in percentage.
But I don't know,
Of
Jalen. I was hesitant you bringing that stat up. That's 2021.
It's
It
probably
only got
increased
higher.
by
Half that
now,
went down.
not decreased.
No, but what y'all had was 100,000 a month, right? Essentially.
Yeah, that was as of 2024. So yeah. So it's safe to say the majority of those abortions were by Black women.
Because the trend doesn't change. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah. No.